The cemetery, behind its discreet neighbourhood walls, appears as one of the strange and last shelters of dreams and illusions, of that which is different and unknown, of that which is extraordinary and magic. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. GV here, hope you're all well. So I'm here today in Martin Old Graveyard and Church Ruin in County Wexford, and it goes back as far as the time of the Normans. So we'll have a look around and see the wonderful church that's here and graveyard. And there's people actually buried in here from the Boxwell family, would have been a famous family here in the area. So if we just look at the sign here as you enter the old graveyard, and there's the gate there, so you can just see there it says it's called the Norman Way, and there's a few of these in the Wexford area. And this is what the church would have looked like back in the day. You can see all the people building the church there, and artists' illustration of what it might have looked like. Right, so here we are in Martin. I think it's Martin it's pronounced. And that's the old church right there, which would have went back to the time of the Normans. And there's a number of graves there that we will go around and have a look at those of the Boxwell family. But first of all, we'll go inside the old church ruin here, and it's extremely windy here today, so I hope the sound is going to be okay. So this is the entrance inside the old church ruin. Now just as you enter inside, you see this old holy water font. Now this goes back to the Norman times, and it's made from pink granite. You can just see the hole in the centre of it there. So it's a really old holy water font. It's amazing that it's still here and still in one piece. And just here then, now they have touched up the wall, the local people here, like the heritage groups. And you just see up the top there, that's the original bellcot, double bell tower there. It's called a bellcot tower. So there would have been two bells on that. And you can see all those holes in the wall there. That's where all those timber beams would have come out through those holes to support the old church. So quite amazing to see that there's still a lot of the church and parts of history still standing. Now inside in this area here, the Boxwell family are interred, and you can just still see the old style windows in the church. You can look out and see all the graves through there. Look at that windows, isn't that gorgeous? Original windows of the old church. And there's another window just there. Now there is an old stone slab here, so I hope I can read some of this. And I don't have my torch with me today, unfortunately, but the name on this is I can just move back this here, Ambrose Harvey. And then you have here July the 21st, John Boxwell, 1859, I think that is. July the 21st, 1859. So there's a Boxwell name there. John Boxwell. So it's all the Boxwell family in that stone slab unfortunately has broken away. Now this one here looks like it has been replaced and fixed up, and the inscriptions are still on it. Now unless they cleaned it some way, because the inscriptions on it seem to be, some of the letters are kind of missing there, so I'm just wondering, is it the original one that has been cleaned up and not just a new one? Now, and I'll read the inscription here. It says, the burial place of the Boxwells of Butlerstown Castle, Ambrose Harvey Boxwell. And that could have been the name we just seen on the stone slab there, Ambrose Harvey Boxwell. And it's actually 1850, who died July 7th, 1850, age 46 years old. And then you have Mrs. Susan Boxwell, who died September the 28th, 1853, age 78 years old. John Boxwell, who died the 21st of July, 1859, aged 88. James Boxwell, who died the 5th of August, 1867, age 61 years old. Martha Boxwell, who died the 2nd of June, 1876, age 61. Francis Boxwell, who died on the 15th of April, 1887, I think that is there, age 75. And a number of these letters here are missing, but you can still read it. So it's Susan Boxwell, who died in 1928, aged, could be 66 years old. Elizabeth is there, 1934, age 89. And it just says there down the bottom, when I shall awake up after thy likeness, I shall be satisfied with it. So there's all the original old stone. Look at that ledge that sticks out there. So these would have been all timber support beams, I'd imagine, that were coming through all those holes there. It's a beautiful old church ruin. Look at that red brick, and there's that double bellcot tower in the background. So we'll go out and have a look at some of the old graves here and read the inscriptions on them. So I love these old churches, you know, especially these ones back to the Norman times, imagine. Really old churches. And that old pink granite holy water font that's there. So here we have, sacred to the memory of Joseph Jeffreys, who died on the 19th of July 1912 at his residence, the Ring, Tecumseh, aged 78 years. Also Fanny, his beloved wife, who died the 9th of May 1928 in her 75th year. And that's just a beautiful looking old headstone. Look at that. And the old church and tower in the background. So here we have on this one, beautiful stonework and design on this, in loving memory of John Jacob Tanner, Tanner, who died on the 12th of March 1935, age 85 years. Also his wife, Maud Mary, who died on the 14th of October 1942, age 82 years old. Beautiful old headstone. Now there is 3 other ones just behind me here, so I'll try and get in and read these. John Tanner, formerly of Common, Killinick, who died the 4th of March 1994, aged 98 years old. Wow, what a big age, guys. Look at that. In 1994, 98 years old John was when he passed away. Rest in peace, John. And this one here says, in memory of Adelaide. I love that name, Adelaide Maud Tanner. What a name. Who died the 18th of December 1977. A long time ago, and I wasn't even born, guys, in 1977. In memory of Samuel Tanner, who died the 15th of May 1975. So there's just a pan around and show you. There's a couple of graves here, not many here, but still an absolutely beautiful old graveyard and church ruin. Just look at that. That's even a thumbnail in itself, looking at that. Now on this one here we have in memory of Patricia Sybil Dacre Lacey, nee Boxwell, the 5th of May 1930 to the 16th of March 2014, beloved wife and mother. And a kind of a different looking stone here that's flat on the ground, in memory, in memoriam, Frances Boxwell, 1872 to 1950, Charlotte Hazel Boxwell, 1892 to 1975. Isn't that beautiful, that old stone? I'll try and get my shadow out of the way. The Boxwell family. We have more Boxwells here, and it looks like a bit of geography here from around the world. In memoriam, Jack Boxwell, born in India in 1880, Professor, University of Pretoria, and that's in South Africa, Pretoria, I think. Died at Butlerstown 1974, and his wife Lillian Stokes. And then you have Francis St. Ledger Boxwell, 1922 to 1995, born at Butlerstown, died in Sydney, Australia. So these people really did get around the world back in the day. And there's another stone slab here in front of the headstone, in loving memory of John Sholto, Herries, Harry's, Scrine, OBE-MC, of Bath and Kuala Lumpur, 1922 to 1993. Look at that, Bath and Kuala Lumpur. So we have been, myself and Serenity Sue have been to Bath City, to Bath Abbey Cemetery. So this man lived in Bath and Kuala Lumpur. So amazing, amazing history there again. You have Sydney, Australia, University of Pretoria, born in India. Amazing, amazing history. We have a new grave here, quite new, maybe a year old. Helen Scrine, nee Boxwell, died on November the 22nd, 2021. So maybe this woman would have been the last person so far to be buried in this graveyard. So I'd imagine that the graveyard here is actually belonged to the Boxwell family. It's like a private graveyard for the Boxwell family, who are all buried here. beautiful one here, look at that. Beneath this cross lie the remains of Ethel Grace, wife of Francis Boxwell of Butlerstown, Esquire, and daughter of Sir Edmund Bewley, born in Dublin on the 15th of November 1884 and died in 1906. Also her infant son, John. Isn't that beautiful? Just look at the designs on that. And that old railing that goes all around it there. The wrought iron old railing. And it looks like there's actually, it's like a shamrock that goes around on it there on the sides. Beautiful work on that grave with the white stones. So just here we have, in memory of Phyllis St. Ledger Prendergast, nee Boxwell, 1918 to 1978. And Colonel Evelyn David Vereker, Vereker, Vereker Prendergast, MBE DFC, I think it looks like, late RA, 1918 to 2001. So amazing old graves of the Boxwell family. And you can just see, we've seen that before, there's just stone markers in this section here with no inscriptions on those. So it's in the countryside here, the old graveyard. It's in the middle of an old back road here up on a hill. Beautiful old graveyard. And I think the castle is not actually far from here where the Boxwell family owned that. And I'll get a picture of that castle and add that to the video also. In loving memory of Joseph Davis, who died November 1920, aged 55 years of age, and his wife Sarah died aged 92 in 1973. So you have all the old stone markers and no inscriptions, and then you have the really elaborate looking ones, you know, with the inscriptions, and have another one here, just a stone cross, and you can see the grave there. Unfortunately there's no names on that. So I'd be wondering why, if they were a wealthy family back in the day who owned the castles and stuff, why these stone markers or graves are here with no inscriptions on them, and just these stones like you see in the grass there. There's my bike straight ahead, and you're not going to believe what happened today, and you're going to laugh, but I got another flat tire coming here today on the bike. So me and bikes are not a good thing at the moment, but look guys, it's all good. I'm here, I wanted to come here, video this beautiful place, so I'm here. Very hard to read the inscriptions on these, they've faded on that one anyway. John M. Harvey, M.A., who died in 1912, and his wife Mary died in 1941. Then you have also his son, I think, is there. and it's hard to read the name of that. Bagnall, Captain Royal Fusiliers. Beauchamp, and I've seen that name before, Beauchamp Bagnall Harvey. I done his grave and his crypt. So it says here the Beauchamp Bagnall, Captain Royal Fusiliers, who died, looks like March. And it's hard to see a date on that. But if I find anything online, I'll add that on to the video. I have a really old one here. Really overgrown. Look at that. The wild growth, nettles and thorns, and it's a beautiful headstone. Patrick Mourn, erected by Patrick Mourn in memory of his wife Catherine Walsh, who died in 1888, aged 32 years old. Now I'm just wondering, guys, when I'm reading this, because I've just noticed it says erected by Patrick Mourn in memory of his wife Catherine Walsh, who died in 1888, aged 32, and then it says also his wife Ellen Rossiter, who died in 1890, which would be 2 years later, aged 45. Also Patrick himself. And it's hard to see a date on that. I can't see a date there, guys. 1917 he died, aged 85 years old. So we have a man here called Patrick Mourn, which looks like that he's buried here with his two wives. And now one of his wives died in 1888, aged only 32 years old. And then it says also his wife Ellen died in 1890, which was 2 years after his first wife died. So Patrick is buried here with his two wives. Wow. And it is quite a very big plot, as you can see. So Patrick Mourn buried with his two wives. An old slab tomb here, almost like a tabletop. Inscriptions have completely weathered off this one here, so it's not going to be possible to read that. I think we're only left with two more guys here, so there's not many graves here, but still a beautiful graveyard to video. Look at that old Celtic cross. Loving memory of William Pitt, who died in 1900, I think, aged 35 years old, and also his daughter Mary, who died in 1907, aged 18 years old. A beautiful old Celtic cross, look at that, for the Pitt family. And last but not least, we have this one here, in loving memory of Richard Sinnott, who died the 2nd of July 1948, aged 72 years, and also his wife Catherine. And you can just see it written on it there. And Catherine is interred at Churchtown. So Richard is buried here, and his wife Catherine was interred at Churchtown. And I'm just wondering why Catherine was interred in a completely different area. Were they two different religions? Maybe they weren't buried together. Let me know in the comments below. Now there is one more actually I didn't see, and it's just in here, and all this overgrowth, and you have all those blackberries and red berries are all grown there in the wild. Look at that, very edible. In loving memory of John Wilson Sigginstown, who died 1910, aged 20 years old, and his father James is also buried there. Another old one. So there's this grave here, and I nearly missed this one as well. Lovely grave here. It says erected by Elizabeth Boxwell in loving memory of her husband John Boxwell, Commissioner of Dhaka, India, who died at Dhaka on the 13th of May 1891. He sought the things that are above. And there's a plaque down here, and we have the Lamb of God on that. Dorothy Janet Boxwell, born in 1880 and died in 1892. Also her mother Elizabeth Boxwell, who died August 1924, aged 80 years old. And just, I believe, at the back of this grave here we have Sybil, aged 3 years and a half, who died in Darjeeling the 29th of July 1918. Suffer little children to come unto me. So Sybil was only 3.5 years old and died in Darjeeling. And Darjeeling, as we all know, is very famous for the tea, Darjeeling tea. I'm sure you've heard of it before. So I'll wrap the video up there, guys. Thanks for coming along on this beautiful walk and this beautiful old church here in County Wexford. So if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, hit the notification bell and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all in my next adventure. Take care, guys. God bless.